What is that interview magic? Specifically, Harriet, what is the hiring company ultimately looking for? What I often hear, and I'm seeing in the chat from executives, is I was the most qualified. Did anyone bother to read my resume? I had great marketing material. Why didn't this go according to plan? Why not? What happens?
Well, at the end of the day, we have to remember, I like to say there's a three-legged stool that supports executive success. So I'm going back to my assessment days. Number one, clearly it's what you know. So if you think about your formal education and your education through experience, that's one leg. A second would be what you've done. So if you think about your accomplishments, again, your experiences, the various roles that you've had, the various companies, etc., that's the second. And that typically is what is featured on a resume. What they don't know, though, is who you are. And that's where the stories that Connie mentioned came in. Do you know your value proposition? Do you know what's unique that you bring to the table, and can you clearly articulate that? Because at the end of the day, it is about fit. Can they see themselves working with you, and vice versa? And a lot of times that is the why they hire individuals, because you wouldn't be in an interview if you didn't meet the basic qualifications of being qualified. So that's a given. But how can you go beyond that? That's the key.
Mhm. So, Connie, on the subject of fit, what can an interviewee do in the interview or even in prepping for that interview to establish fit? I know a lot of it comes down to what we'll call chemistry, and that's what it is. There's an alchemy there that you don't exactly control. But as far as letting them see who you are on the personal front, not just the professional front, what should you be thinking as someone who's sitting in that chair, virtually or otherwise?
You know, it does all come down to your tummy check sometimes. And remember that in an interview, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. And so fit is important for both the candidate and the hiring leader. And I think one of the things you can do in an interview is be yourself. And, you know, don't be somebody stiff and hard to talk to, but just relax, be yourself, be sure that you smile, do your homework on the culture of that company, and try and talk about things that will help them see how you fit. And you know, there's a fine line about between being human and oversharing. You want to be very careful of that. People don't want to know everything that ever happened to you in your life. They just want to know, are you a human I would like to work with? And so be planful about what you share, and try to be relaxed and human. And if you've done your homework on that culture, you'll know if you fit. You just have to demonstrate it.